You have a limited amount of time when you can really focus and attend to new learning. New learning is hard. It takes work. And your brain can only kind of work on something for a particular amount of time, and it's shorter than you think. If you want to be an efficient learner, what you need to do is understand your limitations. You can't sit down and study for 3 hours and be an efficient learner for those 3 hours.
You're a student and you found that things aren't working for you, that you thought you knew something and you didn't. And you're doing all of the things that you were trained to do, to reread, to highlight, to do all these things, and they're not working. One practice to consider is something called interleaving, which is taking different steps in the learning process and mixing them up.
Students go into the classroom and there's certain assumptions. They're studying for the grade. They're waiting for the instructor to say something for them to write down, and they regurgitate on an exam. If I can start the semester by shocking them out of that sense of complacency, I can set the tone for the semester to create the best learning environment. I do it in several different ways, both implicit and explicit in terms of interleaving. So for example, I have information transfer as some things that the students will be, I'll share with the students. And I try to mix that up. And then repeat it through the semester so that for retrieval, students are picking this up at different times, and it can be somewhat unexpected sometimes. And what I love about that is the connectivity. If I can try to establish connections throughout the semester with a variety of what might be considered individually separate topics, that really, I think, helps reinforce the information.
When I think of interleaving, I always think of this one time I was giving my friend a ride home from school and she dropped her flashcards on the ground. She's like, oh no, they're gonna be all mixed up now, I'm not gonna know which order they're in. I'm like, that's actually good. You wanna mix them up because that's gonna force you and help you to think even better and bring that knowledge out, because you sometimes can get stuck in a certain pattern.
Currently I'm taking a genetics course, and a lot of that is problem-based. So if you don't do the problems, you're not going to really understand the concepts. So as I go through the course, I'll always not only go back to the problem sets that I've done and refresh on how to do those problems that I've already done. I'll go into the book, practice problems that are easy, hard, medium, so I can get a different flavor of everything that genetics has to offer, because when the test comes around, it could be a very simple question, it could be a very difficult question, and I'll know how to do both.
For interleaving every day, I usually like to mix things up by not just one subject or one theory and then moving on, but kind of seeing how they could overlap, because in psychology a lot you have factors that are simultaneous. And so if you think about them separately, that's not how they would really apply every day. You need to actually interleave your material for it to be applicable in the real world.
So far better to interleave your work, your study practice. Start off with one topic for 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Take a break for 15 minutes. Go for a walk, go grab a cup of coffee, come back and start on a completely new topic for the next hour. Work out your study schedule in that way so that you can break up the material, so that you're not trying to just focus over and over for hours on the same kind of information.